Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda, and please welcome to our Operation Freedom platform, WeThePeopleProcessing.com. You know, are you tired of being threatened to be canceled just because you have a company focused on liberty and freedom? Well, worry no more, folks. WeThePeopleProcessing.com is your go-to merchant services, freedom-based company to provide business service payment solutions. We the People Processing provides their clients a cancel culture-free platform which is domestically based. They provide competitive rates, no contracts with next-day funding, a fully vetted and like-minded financial infrastructure, and full support for integrations, implementation, and e-commerce efforts. Bottom line, WeThePeopleProcessing.com focuses on defending your company's free market growth, values, and future. Check them out at www.WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Once you're on the site, enter in password Operation Freedom or call 855-499-2024. That's WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Then, when on the website, enter Operation Freedom as your password or call 855-499-2024.
Mr. President-elect,
go ahead.
Can you state
She's
categorically?
asking a question.
Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You are
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a
question.
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Dave versus the MSM. I'd like to thank you for joining me today. We are available, obviously, on this YouTube channel, but available also on a Rumble channel, also named Operation Freedom. And we're available 24/7. The light's always on for you. It's the light of freedom at davejanda.com. Great shows, great guests, extra analysis, archives to all of our shows. It's why the deep state hates us. Because what we do is we expose them. We expose them with truth, data, facts, and when we're dealing with medical issues and the science. You see, many of us feel as though we're incredibly frustrated because we cannot make a difference. That's what the deep state wants you to believe. But the truth is you can make a difference, a huge difference, in the defeat of the deep state and what they're trying to do with their great reset program that only benefits them, the elites, and harms each and every one of us. You see, we have them outnumbered. They fear that. And they fear us speaking. This is why they want to isolate all of us in our own homes with fear. They love using fear. They've done this for decades. And frankly, it's worked pretty well for them. So they keep going back to that page in the playbook. But here's what they don't want. They do not want you taking information that you glean through the independent media, of which we are an aspect of that. The website, davejanda.com, this YouTube station channel, our Rumble channel, our radio show, Operation Freedom, which you're welcome to join us every Sunday from 2 to 5 Eastern. It's live and it's free. Go to davejanda.com, hit the listen live button, and you're with us. We have listeners in all 50 states every week and in over 120 countries worldwide that either listen to the show live over the internet or download the show, which is available at davejanda.com after the show is over. What they don't want is us speaking to each other and networking this information to our friends and families and neighbors and coworkers. Because with that networking, they become exposed. And when they get exposed, they melt. You remember, like the Wicked Witch? Yeah. Oh no. We can win this war because it is a war. It's a war for your freedom and liberty and future of our country and for your life. So, speaking truth melts this current puppet government, if you want to call it that, of the deep state, the globalist syndicate, the New World Order crowd, the criminal national banking syndicate, whatever you want to call them. I call the current administration, this Biden-Harris administration, the Thugocracy. That's actually not name-calling, it's factual. Just look at what they do and how they do it. They're a bunch of thugs. And their goal is to strip you of your freedom and liberty and your future and your life. It's that simple. So let's talk about how we do that. How we defeat them. We talk amongst ourselves and to others. And if you tell two people and those two people tell two people, before you know it, we have a huge army of empowered individuals, empowered with the truth. And that's what they fear because they know it leads to their ultimate defeat. It's happening. A little slower than most of us would like, but it is happening. Single most effective thing you can do is turn off the bought-off lamestream fake media. And yeah, that includes Fox. They're part of it. Right. They are part of it. No. Turn off the bought-off lamestream fake media and tune in to the independent media. And then after you tune in, take the information you get and network it. That is how we win. Now, I want to talk, and I can't say the words because it would mean that this channel get taken down. That's how bad it has gotten on the censorship issue, which is why I put the in-depth information on the website, davejanda.com, for you. This is the appetizer, the main meal. The meat is there at davejanda.com. I want to talk about what's happened medically. So we have to watch our words. First day of medical school. I went to Northwestern University Medical School in Chicago. The dean, Dr. James Eckenhoff, walked in our anatomy, huge auditorium, and had us all stand up, put our right hands up, and he presided over us taking the Hippocratic Oath. It's the oath that every physician has taken for centuries. My concern is when I watch what has happened and experience what has happened over the past 2 years. My concern is that that oath is being violated millions of times every day around the world. And the reason is part of that oath is to do no harm. Do no harm. By not speaking up and speaking about not just injustices, but in information that's being withheld or covered up, in my mind, is doing harm. Throughout my career, I tried to extend that oath to not just do no harm, but be involved in activities that prevent harm to the public, which is why I focused my research career in the prevention side of the equation. And my focus in prevention led to some fairly significant studies, one of which I was the lead investigator. According to the federal government, has led to the prevention of approximately 1.7 million people in the United States from being injured every year in our country. And it has saved $2 billion, with a B, $2 billion in healthcare costs every year. And through that series of studies, in the first portion of it, President Reagan, at the end of his term, got wind of this approach that we instituted about prevention, about making people safer and healthier as a means of cutting costs rather than what the insurance companies want to do and big medicine wants to do, is to ration and deny care as a means of cutting costs, which in my mind is the most unethical and inhumane means of cutting healthcare costs. And in 1988, he had me come to Washington to work with a number of individuals in his administration. It was the end of his administration, but still had an opportunity to work with then Surgeon General C. Everett Koop and help work on developing healthcare policy that focused on empowering people, not big pharmaceutical companies, not big insurance companies, not big medicine such as the AMA, but empowering people. Now, President Reagan embraced that approach. George H.W. Bush, Bush 1, Clinton, Bush 2, and Obama, no, they wanted nothing to do with it. They only wanted policies that empowered big government, big medicine, big pharma, and big insurance. Why? Because with all of them, it was all about the money. See, there isn't any money in empowering people with those folks. Why? Because they're all deep state players. You know, when I started the radio show, now 11 years, in October of 2010, when I started the radio show Operation Freedom, one of the first things I spoke about is there was one political party in Washington. I got a lot of blowback on this at the time. But and it was based on my experience. I've been doing this since '88, doing this consultancy stuff in D.C. And it became very apparent very quickly, particularly after President Reagan left. One political party, the Republicrats, as I call them, owned and operated by the syndicate, the deep money syndicate. But over the years, I kept trying to push free market healthcare reforms that empowered people, that empowered the doctor-patient relationship to work as a team for the interests of that patient. Not big pharma, not big insurance, not big medicine, not big government. And it's been a very frustrating road. With President Trump, we made some headway, but not as much as we could have. There were people around him that were not interested in the empowerment of people. There were people around him that unfortunately he listened to that were more interested in the status quo. And with this Biden-Harris thugocracy, it's just more of the same. You know, what we're seeing today, I predicted in 2008 and 2009. Got a lot of grief for it. Why? Because in 2008, as the campaign wound to an end, and then at the beginning of Obama's term in 2009, within a month they passed the stimulus bill. And hidden in the stimulus bill was the first part of Obamacare. That's where all the rationing boards and the enforcement boards were. And what I said back then, and got a tremendous amount of blowback, was that when you read through the first part of Obamacare, because everybody thinks Obamacare really kicked in 2010 with the health care bill. That was the second part of it. The first part, as sinister as the second part was, the first part was also sinister because it focused on the rationing and enforcement boards. And what I said at the time was that the private practice of medicine, based on what was in the stimulus bill, would be obliterated. And the doctor-patient relationship would be obliterated. And what would transpire is docs would be owned by large entities, insurance companies, huge medical centers, and they would lose their autonomy and they would lose the opportunity to do individualized care for their patients. And what would happen would be that the government comprised of people who have no functional medical knowledge, who are tied financially to big pharma, big medicine, big insurance, would be dictating to physicians in how they could take care of people, what they could prescribe, what they could not prescribe, what they would do. And I predicted that many of the things that these government bureaucrats with no functional medical knowledge were going to do were going to be on border on the unethical. And doctors would be forced to do it if this was allowed to proceed. Now, I was called a conspiracy theorist. I was called, this was hyperbole. This is a figment of my imagination. No, it wasn't a figment. It was black and white. I continued to be a healthcare policy analyst. A really good one. And I looked at those documents and read them, which most people didn't even do, that were criticizing me. Now, excuse me, not most, all of those people didn't do. And when I fight back and say, wait, here it is, page, well, we don't want to hear that. Wait, this is just too much. This would never happen. Now look where we are today. This was completely predicted in 2008 and 2009 by yours truly and several others. So what do? We don't shut up. We don't. That's what they want. What we do is we tell people, this originated with Obamacare. And Biden's just following through. Remember, he was a vice president when this happened. He knows exactly what this is. Look, this just didn't happen, right? This has been in the cards. So we present facts and data and science. Their whole narrative is falling apart as we speak. I spoke this past Sunday on the radio show about some great studies coming out of India of the fact that the largest state in India, Uttar Pradesh, is free. They're gone. And we gave folks on our platform at davejanda.com heads up about this in the spring of not 2021, but 2020. Because we were aware of what was going on there and what they were doing with their, in a way, preventive packs that they were distributing to the population at a cost of $2.65. They're panicked. The deep state is panicked because that's starting to get out. And they're also panicked because of a meeting that happened in Rome recently. Remember I spoke about the Hippocratic Oath? Well, a number of physicians in Rome at a global summit comprised a physician's declaration. And I want to read it for you because you're not going to hear this ever in the bought-off lamestream fake media, and that includes Fox. But I want you to read this. Over 9,000 freedom-loving physicians have signed on to this, have signed this document, including myself. And it's a document that they want to suppress, but we won't let that happen because you are going to talk to your friends about this and hopefully network this video to them. Because the more people that know that there are freedom fighters in the foxholes, in the medical foxholes, that are in hand-to-hand combat and not giving up, that helps. That lifts spirits. And that makes those people freedom fighters as well. Here's the declaration. We, the physicians of the world, united and loyal to the Hippocratic Oath, recognizing the profession of medicine as we know it is at a crossroad, we are compelled to declare the following. Whereas it is our utmost responsibility and duty to uphold and restore the dignity, integrity, art, and science of medicine, whereas there is an unprecedented assault on our ability to care for our patients, whereas public policy makers have chosen to force a one-size-fits-all treatment strategy resulting in needless illness and death, rather than upholding fundamental concepts of the individualized, personalized approach to patient care, which has proven to be safe and more effective, whereas physicians and other healthcare providers working in the front lines, utilizing their knowledge of epidemiology, that's the study of distribution and determinants of disease, pathophysiology, and pharmacology, are often first to identify new, potentially life-saving treatments, whereas physicians are increasingly being discouraged from engaging in open professional discourse and the exchange of ideas about new and emerging diseases, not only endangering the essence of the medical profession, but more importantly, more tragically, the lives of our patients. Whereas thousands of physicians are being prevented from providing treatment to their patients as a result of barriers put up by pharmacies, hospitals, and public health agencies, rendering the vast majority of healthcare providers helpless to protect their patients in the face of disease. Physicians are now advising their patients to simply go home and return when their disease worsens, resulting in hundreds of thousands of unnecessary patient deaths due to failure to treat. Whereas this is not medicine, this is not care, these policies may actually constitute crimes against humanity. Now, therefore, it is resolved that the physician-patient relationship must be restored. The very heart of medicine is this relationship which allows physicians to best understand their patients and their illnesses, to formulate treatments that give the best chance for success while the patient is an active participant in their care. Resolve that the political intrusion into the practice of medicine and the physician-patient relationship must end. Physicians and all healthcare providers must be free to practice the art and science of medicine without fear of retribution, censorship, slander, or disciplinary action, including possible loss of licensure and hospital privileges, loss of insurance contracts, and interference from government entities and organizations, which further prevent us from caring for patients in need. More than ever, the right and ability to exchange objective scientific findings which further our understanding of disease must be protected. Resolved that physicians must defend their right to prescribe treatment, observing the tenet first, do no harm. Physicians shall not be restricted from prescribing safe and effective treatments. These restrictions continue to cause unnecessary sickness and death. The rights of patients, after being fully informed about the risks and benefits of each option, must be restored to receive those treatments. Resolved that we invite physicians of the world and all healthcare providers to join us in this noble cause as we endeavor to restore trust, integrity, and professionalism to the practice of medicine. Resolved that we invite the scientists of the world who are skilled in biomedical research and uphold the highest ethical and moral standards to insist on their ability to conduct and publish objective empirical research without fear of reprisal upon their careers, reputations, and livelihoods. Resolved that we invite patients who believe in the importance of the physician-patient relationship and the ability to be active participants in their care to demand access to science-based medical care. In witness thereof and whereof, the undersigned has signed this declaration. Thank you for signing the declaration. Please share it. I signed it, and over 9,000 other physicians signed it. The only way we win this war is by implementing that declaration. And the way we implement it is the following. Next time you go to your doctor, say, did you sign that declaration about restoring the doctor-patient relationship? About ending the intrusion of big medicine, big pharma, big insurance, and what you and I discuss and what you can do to help me? If your doctor says, well, no, then I suggest you tell him to go to the search engine of his choice and download it. Physician's Declaration from the Global Summit in Rome, Italy. They type that in their search, they'll get it. Tell them to sign it. Or if you want to take it a step further, do the search yourself. Print it out. Bring it to your doctor. Ask him to sign it in front of you, him or her to sign it in front of you. Any doc that will not sign that, you need to find yourself a different doctor. Fact. And that's how we move the needle. You see, when the players, whether they're high end or whether they're puppets in this whole totalitarian thugocracy situation that has developed over the past 2 years, when they get exposed, they cave. When they know you're wise to them, they cave. That's how we win this war. I thank you for joining me today. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.